I am Aaron, and I'm sweaty as hell, and welcome to the Cult of Cinema. I had to do a lot of work to make this video, so hopefully you guys show up. Had to bring a lot of stuff downstairs, and it wasn't light. Hey there. So today I got a 4K UHD coming in the mail, but not just any 4K UHD, one that means a lot to me and is a big part of my youth, my childhood. Well, not my childhood, well, because it initially came out in theater back in 1989. And I had just graduated from high school. And I was working, I had like one of these summer jobs where you work for the town. You're doing a bunch of different things. Hey there, Dale. Hey, Cinematech. And hey there, Nethead. Well, Vince, we got a lot of people here today. Thank God, because I was worried we weren't going to. And hopefully you guys are going to like my video idea. So today I got something new. And that is something I'm very excited about. It is the 1989 4K edition of Batman. Now, when I saw this movie, I saw it when it opened up in my area. And I was so excited the weekend that this had opened up that I was running to my house to get ready to go because it was a 3-hour drive to get to the theater where this was showing. And I twisted my foot really badly. I was actually on crutches. So the movie this was back in the day when like movies were a big deal to go to the theater. See, this was like lined up around the block. I was on crutches going into the theater, and I was not going to let that stop me from seeing this film. And I finally have the 4K edition. I've got to get the 4K editions of the other three. Does anybody here have all of these on 4K? Like Batman, Batman Returns, Batman Forever, and Batman and Robin. Anybody? I do not. Because I've noticed that I like Batman and Robin, I'm not going to lie to you. These, like this one, pretty easy to get. Hey, Alan. But the other ones, you can still get Batman Returns pretty easily. But Batman Forever and Batman Robin, I'm so jealous, man. Tends to be really hard to get. So, and they get expensive because you're buying it from like third-party sources. So my thought is more than likely, and if anybody knows this, let me know, that this one here is probably the one that they're going to be marketing the most. And anything past this, maybe Batman Returns, but Batman Forever and Batman and Batman and Robin, those are going to be like, because people are thinking, okay, not as many people are going to get those. Hey there, Ryan. Then that they're not going to put them out as as readily. They're going to be like they're in the box set, but we're not going to get a lot afterwards. The best part. Now, see, I like best part of Batman Forever for me. Well, aside from the fact that I really think Val Kilmer did a good job taking over the role of Batman, I really, really like the way they did the Riddler. I don't like the way they did Two-Face. I really don't like the way they did Two-Face, but the Riddler is not as jokey as you think he would be, and is much darker. This was when the Riddler actually got like the Riddler was like in the comics wasn't that dark, but he actually becomes darker in this, and you wouldn't think he would because it's Jim Carrey, right? So you expect it's just gonna be like kind of funny and stuff like that. But nope. Hey there, Alan. He decided to take it in a really dark way. Hey there, Chris. And for those who don't know what I'm doing today, and this took a ton of work, so you guys better appreciate this. I brought down most of my graphic novels here on downstairs. Now, I didn't bring down my DC showcase or my Marvel Essentials, but I brought down my regular graphic novels and stuff to give you guys kind of idea of some of the stuff in comic-wise that I do read and collect. And I haven't done this in a long time. I used to have a comic portion to my channel, but I will be bluntly honest with you. I've ever ranked live action Batman. I haven't. That's a really good idea, actually. But I used to have a kind of. I used to really be into the comic, but it was like before many people were watching my channel. So I would be very disappointed when I like turn on my my YouTube thing back then. I had like 5 or 10 views. The early days of YouTube, not that long ago actually. All right, so you guys want to just like dive into this? Because we're going to be talking about Batman, and we're going to talk about like all this comics and stuff, and like movies that are related to him along the way, and TV shows. But the best way that I can think about doing that is just to dive right in. And what I could have done, if I was smart, which I'm not. I just finished work, and basically on my lunch break from work, when most people are having lunch, I realized I got this a day early. This came a day early. Thank you. You're getting pure later. You're really fast. I was going to have to make a video, and I wanted to get the litter and stuff done. So on my lunch break, I came down here, did the litter, scrub floors, all that type of stuff. And let's go. Let's just get into this right now. So let's start with one of both mine and my better half's favorite comics. And I think we got quite a few of these. Where are the... Okay, yeah. So I'm going to just show all of these at once. It'll make it easier, and then I can put it over to the side. So we don't have them all yet. Well, we have quite a few. If you're a fan of this comic book, they actually made a video game of this too, by the way. Telltale Games did the video game. So if you've never seen it before, this is a comic series called Fables. So who here is familiar with the comic series Fables? Don't all jump in at once. Now, so are you familiar with Fables? Does anybody here know what Fables is? Okay, Fables. Are you familiar with the TV show called Once Upon a Time? You're just getting cool points in that head. Is anybody familiar with the TV show that Disney ABC put out called Once Upon a Time? Andy, we're getting some people with getting some super cool points here. So basically, Once Upon a Time in a way is kind of a rip-off of Fables. Hey, there's Stefan. Oh, eat away. I have people doing... You got the entire run. Nice. So Fables was a comic book that was more adult. And it is based on basically the Grimm's fairy tale characters, but they're come to life, and they live in their own, like, it's not like in Once Upon a Time they live in like a normal like place, but they have their own area that they live in. There is the Prince Charming, who is not a nice guy. He's exactly what you think he'd be. He's an obnoxious dick that's constantly cheating on. There's Beauty and the Beast. A wolf is actually a really cool character. It's a guy, no, he's not a wolf. So there he is, right there. And it's fantastic. It goes through like an entire, every one of these storylines are excellent. Once Upon a Time is a huge rip off of Fables. Not as good as Fables, but it's but that said, it is I guess it's the closest we got, aside from the video game. But if you've ever watched Once Upon a Time, guys, and you wondered, hey, what would this be like if it was way better? It's Fables. It has some amazing art, and even like we get to the later issues right here. This is like Rose Red. This is number 15, and the artwork in this was incredible. We have to finish the collection. I'm not sure how many there are altogether. Nethead, do you know how many graphic novels there are for Fables? Yeah, my kids use Comixology a lot. Actually, I'm more of a... I do have some Comixology stuff, but you know me, I'm a collector guy, so it's gonna be physical all the way. So my better half introduced me to Fables. One comic that I introduced my better half to, which I was a huge fan of, and I like the self-contained more than the mythological ones, but I like them all. And that is a comic, and I've only got the first 4 graphic novels. I really got to get more. Called Grimm's Fairy Tales. So 15 deluxe, 22 trades. So I started in trades. So I think I need to get like the other 7 trades then. So Grimm's Fairy Tales to the bank. Just has amazing artwork. Now, has anybody read Grimm's Fairy Tales? The artwork in this is incredible, and it's extremely dark. I got to make sure because there are some like pretty graphic sequences in here. I don't mean some of the artwork in this, and it is like it starts out with a lot of like self-contained stories. Basically, there's this girl that'll come along, and people will be at this point with this almost a crisis of conscience, where they're not quite sure where they're going to go, which direction they're going to go in, and they'll read like a Grimm's fairy tale, but it'll be like more of a different, twisted horror like version of the tale, and sometimes at the end of it, what they'll do is it'll end really well for them, and other times they'll still make the wrong turn, and it won't end so well. Scott J. Campbell, Scott J. Campbell does amazing artwork. I remember when he worked with Todd McFarlane, actually, back in the Spawn days. I think he did some Spawn stuff. But just look at the artwork. I mean, like, come on, like these are gorgeous. And the good thing is the art on the inside does match the art on the exterior as well. It is extremely gorgeous artwork. Sometimes they use a different artist for like some of them, but it'll still keep the basic aesthetic of the artist. So if you're a horror fan and you have never checked out Grimm's Fairy Tales, it is definitely something that you should check out. It is one of my favorite comics of all time, and it is just so amazingly done. I haven't seen the later stuff. I see a Locke. Nice. There we go. See, we're back here. Hey, Brian, we're doing a graphic novel collection. Hopefully you've read these. For some of you guys, hopefully the sexy ladies on the front will make you want to read it because they're actually in the comics. We had one issue with disconnecting there tonight. I had thought about doing this upstairs, but some of you guys wanted like kind of me to go back and forth when it comes to this stuff. So for tonight, it's here, and we'll see how long it lasts. All right, the next up is a Daredevil one. And that is Visionaries Volume 3. So this is Frank Miller. And I think it's almost all, or is it all Frank Miller and Klaus Janson? So Klaus Janson was like the artist that is most commonly known for working with Miller. And there are some great stories in here. Basically, it goes from, let's find out here. So Daredevil issue 183 to 191. What If 28 and 35. I know you are, Chris. That's why I thought about this one. And Bizarre Adventures 28. So I love the artwork on the cover of this. That is Frank Miller's art, by the way. I don't always like Frank Miller. He's a little bit of a he's a strange dude in real life, but I love his work. I love his comic work. I do think that, and this is going to be like a little controversial, but and I've said it before, I do think that the girl and the Senti that took over after him is just as good You know, if not just at least just as good as Frank Miller. Her run is really good. All right, so just got the first volume of this, but I got to get the rest. I'm so behind on this. I read them all, and I think I used to have them all at one point, but now for some reason I don't have them all, and I just got the first volume. So this is Sandman, the Sandman Preludes and Nocturnes. If you haven't read the Sandman, my God, read the Sandman. I don't care if you've never read any comic book in your entire life. See this one? This one you have to read. It's kind of a necessity. Eventually they'll make a movie or a mini series or something out of it. Like it's been mentioned like a few times that we're working on stuff like that. But if you've never read the Sandman, you got to read it. Hey there, Paul. Hey, thank you. Well, Paul, welcome to the cult. Hey, cult members, welcome Paul to the Cult of Cinema. You're coming in on a graphic novel day, so it's very different. Now, initially, they had planned to make this part of the whole DC universe, and like they tried to put it like, you know, Superman type appearances, Batman type appearances in here, but eventually they realized that this was just too weird and twisted of a book to do that with, so they went on with their own thing. So aside from that, obviously, both me and my better half are huge Neil Gaiman fans. This is not so much a graphic novel. This is like it's a book with a lot of pictures, and this is Stardust, with done by Neil Gaiman with artwork by Charles Vess. And if you can see the inside here, yeah, it's the same Neil Gaiman from Doctor Who. And of course, Coraline, and you know, if you've seen the movie Coraline, that's Neil Gaiman too. And of course, Good Omens, which she did with. Did you do that with Terry Pratchett? I'm trying to remember now. All right. So, one that my better half had before we got together, because she's also a huge X-Men fan. I've mentioned it on here before. So there was Astonishing X-Men. There was the Josh Whedon run with John Cassidy doing the artwork. I think this was around the time that they did the whole storyline with the White Queen coming into the X-Men and having that like kind of psychic affair with Cyclops. If you don't know what that means, then you're that probably is going to sound kind of crazy to you, but yeah, that was the thing. Yeah, it's right here. So when that starts happening, so Cyclops is that character from X-Men that y'all see. Oh, The Doctor's Wife is an excellent episode. One of my favorites, actually. I also wrote like a Cyberman episode too, I think. But Cyclops is with Jean Grey, like as he is in many of the films that you watch. But Jean Grey and him are not having, like, they're having some issues. So the White Queen, who has always been this very like sexualized character, can get into the mind of Scott, basically, and the kind of like to have an affair, but it's still, we know, within the mind. But of course, Jean Grey, being the most powerful telepath in the world, she eventually finds out about it. So this is the original powers. Hopefully a lot of better stuff, because there's been some decent X-Men like throughout the years, but I really want them to go all in on the X-Men and do it well. But do it well. I don't want just to see like them to just get like just the regular Marvel treatment. I want them to get like to really go on with it. Powers, yeah. So this is the original Powers series. Who Killed a Retro Girl? This is the first storyline. You can tell the one's right there. I'm a big Bendis fan, so some people don't like his work since he moved over to DC. Do I like John Byrne's X-Men? I do, actually. My favorite run on X-Men, though, has got to be like, it's going to seem pretty. No, it's Chris Claremont. That's where now I got into X-Men. I also like Jim Lee's run on X-Men when he did his own comic. I haven't gotten through it. I'll be honest. My better half was able to watch it all the way through, but I have yet to get through it. So I also have some of the Grant Morrison X-Men here. I have the E is for Extinction. This is a, hey there, Joey. This is a controversial run on X-Men, actually. both in the storytelling and in the artwork. I am not a fan of Frank Quitely's artwork. I'm going to be bluntly honest with you. So I like the storylines pretty much. Some of them are iffy. Like Grant Morrison's hit or miss. Because sometimes he's like, I'm the biggest fan of this. Let me show you how big of a fan I am. And again, like there's a storyline here with like Professor X's twin. And I can't remember the character's name right now because I think I blocked it out of my head. But was not a fan. The next one I'm going to show you guys is a comic book graphic novel I was honestly not big on. I own it because it's a classic one. See, I like the Joss Whedon work on X-Men better than the Grant Morrison one. Though I do like a lot of the Grant Morrison stuff. And I did enjoy Grant Morrison's run on Batman, actually, better than his run. Cassandra Nova, thank you. I did like Grant Morrison's run on Batman better than I liked his run on X-Men. I felt like he got the characters better. Especially with the whole black, the Black Glove thing. So this is Batman: The Dark Knight Returns. For a lot of people, this is a seminal book. Some people think this is when comics got adult. This is when things became more gritty. And for some people, that's a good or bad thing. I'm guessing most of you guys have either seen or read or heard about this. And maybe even seen the animated film. There was 2 parts to it. It has some incredible artwork by Klaus Janson. It is an older, rugged, more adulty type Batman. And I will be honest, I've read it a few times, and it's never appealed to me. Batman: The Dark Knight Returns, forget the sequel. The sequel's horrible. But Batman: The Dark Knight Returns is a classic, and a lot of people love it. I love the Killing Joke. Killing Joke is amazing. That's one that does stand out for me. So it's not like the character Batman is one of my favorites. It's a great community. I'll check it out. Like you're going to see a lot of different stuff on here. You're seeing some pretty mainstream stuff now, but we're going to get to some pretty weird stuff. I was reading Batman. You're not a Frank Miller fan? Actually, I can respect that because I go back and forth on Frank Miller. I'm not a Frank Miller fan as Frank Miller as a human, but I'm definitely go back and forth on his writing. Forget the Killing Joke film adaptation. That sucks. That's really, really bad. Never watch that, guys. Now, if you like Batman and you like the character of Batgirl and you don't want to see them, screwed up, forget Bruce Timm and his fan idea of a film called The Killing Joke, because it sucks. It's really, really bad. I was reading Batman around this time. This is the Knightfall series. Hey there, Bill. And Night Quest. Night Send and Night Quest. So Night Quest is the second volume. I don't have the first volume yet. I got to get the first volume. So Morrison's also shoot, man. I got to agree. I love it. I hated Quitely's artwork on it though, but I love the story. I could get through Quitely's artwork for the story. I'm not a fan of Quitely's artwork. So this one is in color. Like a lot of these are, when you see big volumes like this, a lot of these are in black and white. But I bought this at there was a record store, and they had them there for $1 each. That's just amazing. But this here, around this, just after the storyline, I know, I actually quit reading Batman for a while. And I'll explain why. One of the very earliest things that I ever did on the internet was I did an essay for a comic book, a comic book website type thing, and it was about a certain artist and how he ruined a comic for me and a character. So what I'm going to show you right now, these are the covers. Now the artwork is not like this on the inside, thank God, but these are the covers of Knightfall and Night Quest. So there was a artist by the name of Kelly Jones. Now Kelly Jones was really good for doing like Batman the Vampire stories and stuff like that, like Batman Red Rain, all that type of stuff. And he was good for the exterior artwork. Now that being said, reading an entire comic book with Kelly Jones art on the inside of it could be super painful. And I'll show you what I mean. So this is a comic cover of from Kelly Jones. This could have a shorter video than expected. So hopefully you saw the comic cover there by Kelly Jones. It sucks. He's really bad at proportions. He's got his own sort of style. For some reason, every time he draws Catwoman, he draws her slightly differently, and he wrinkles up her clothing, and it's just really badly done. But these are good. This is pre-Kelly Jones. Because his covers were so popular, they decided to let him draw the entirety of the comic book. And when that happened, I quit reading Batman for quite a while. But one of my big comics, one of the ones that kind of really got me started, I used to buy the big, like, thick magazines of them. And when they eventually came out from Dark Horse to buy them in omnibuses, I definitely started doing that. I can't find my first one, but here is Savage Sword of Conan, Volume 2. I think the first one's got red nails on it, which is really good. Just like the artwork on this stuff. Do I have any Simpsons? Not Savage Sword of Conan Volume 3. I used to, actually, some of the early stuff. But I've never been a huge fan of The Simpsons. Savage Sword of Conan Volume 4. Look at this. Who doesn't want to, like, read these? And these look so good on the inside, too. Look at that art. That's probably John Buscemi, actually, or Ernie Chan. That's Ernie Chan. And this is the skipping a volume. Savage Sword of Conan Volume 6, because I could not find Volume 5 in my local comic shop. And to this day, I still can't find it. Doctor Who ones. Oh. I used to have the Doctor Who ones that came here in North America, but I do not have them anymore. With like Marvel Spotlight with like Tom Baker on the cover. All right. Since I'm worried about this here, I'm going to go through these fairly quickly, and then I'm going to bring some of the stuff upstairs, and we're going to talk about some other stuff. But it'll still be kind of comic geek related. So if you like this stuff, please hit the like button, because it's majorly appreciated, and it helps out my channel a lot, especially right now when things are tougher. Spider-Man's. I love Spidey. So this is a Marvel Encyclopedia. This is... Thanks a lot for coming in, Paul. I really appreciate it. Hopefully next time you come in, we'll actually be talking about movies. So have a great evening. Oh yeah, like the Marvel magazines were like that anyway. So this was just like this went through like everything from the movies and like the the comics, the TV series. I actually like this here. Kind of Apocalypse Now, Incredible Hulk cover. Next up is... Thanks a lot, Paul. You're a member of the cult now, so come back in. X-Men Origins, and it is literally what you think it is. The origins of Jean Grey, Beast, Colossus, Wolverine, Sabretooth, and Gambit. And I think it was a miniseries. I love early Swamp Thing. But what do you mean by early, when you say early Swamp Thing? Are you talking about Swamp Thing as in the like the pre-Alan Moore era Swamp Thing, or like the Bernie Wrights and stuff? Or are you kind of like talking about like Swamp Thing as in like when Alan Moore first started doing the run, and Hellblazer shot out of that? I like both runs, but I'm just wondering which of the earlier ones you're referring to. And I got to meet the man, and I bought this when I met him. I should have gotten him to sign it, actually. But there's some like Stan Lee meets, and it's like some kind of those fantasy stories where Stan Lee gets to meet some of the characters he created. Really fun, and there's 5 of them here. Stan Lee meets the Amazing Spider-Man, Doctor Doom, Silver Surfer, The Thing, and Doctor Strange. They're fun, they're lighthearted, and Stan Lee and Jack Kirby. Love the Jack Kirby art. Hey there, Amy. We're doing some like graphic novel stuff today. I broke my back for you guys. I'm not even joking. This stuff is freaking heavy. See this gets heavy after a while when you're bringing like loads of comics down. So on a more serious and somber comic note, this is Mouse. The complete Mouse was which I found in a local bookstore. Or was it Value Village? Well, thanks Value Village actually. I was really surprised. This is pretty much the the whole story of like World War II, and but instead of like Nazis and Jewish and Jews, is basically it is cats and mice. Alan Moore. Oh yeah, I love Alan Moore. Like Run on Swamp Thing. I think they should let him go with his natural conclusion. Oh, John G. Ito. I love John G. Ito stuff. This is really good. It is a dark story, but it's something that, in a way, is filled with a lot of hope too. So I do recommend reading Mouse if you haven't checked it out. So these here, my better half got me when she was, when we first moved to. You're a fan? I knew you'd be a fan, Ryan. When we first moved to, kind of moved in together, really. I think it's when we first started dating. When we first started actually like dating. So she went on a trip to Ontario for her work, and when she came back, she had some really unique comics for me, some neat ones, and I got a kick out of these. So the Mammoth Book of Zombie. I hate this iPad right now, and this area. Just saying that, just put that out there, because I'm never quite sure if it's going to come back or not. The Mammoth Book of the Best War Comics. Some of these are actually in color too, which were kind of cool. A lot of the really early stuff, some amazing artwork. And she also got me the Mammoth Book of Horror Comics. So over 50 of the greatest horror comics and graphic short stories ever produced. Stuff like from classic, like Mike Plug and like Frank Brunner and guys like that. So I think this one here has like a really neat little one, which is I think it's got a little version of Pigeons from Hell, which is a favorite of mine, and was in the Boris Karloff thriller series actually. I love H.P. Lovecraft. He's not for everybody, but if you like the kind of the weird wonky stuff already, then you'll probably get a kick out of H.P. Lovecraft. Now, what some people know on here, and some people don't, is I was a journalist. I went to school. Well, I didn't. I went to school for journalism. And the comics that I'm about to show you were a big inspiration for me when it came to journalism. Because not only were these comic strips, but they were very topical, and they helped crack a scandal. And I have 2 of the books here right now. And this is the Doonesbury Chronicles. This is the very early Doonesbury stuff. I think this is right from the beginning. I think this is the first one. But let's see if it is or not. Because I'll know right away because I know the first stories. Yep. And then there's Doonesbury's Greatest Hits. So this is Zonker Harris. If you never read Doonesbury, Doonesbury is a comic book done by G.B. Trudeau, Gary Trudeau, here in Canada, done in Montreal. And how influential were his comics and stuff like that? Well, he kind of got the Iran-Contra scandal before it actually it was the thing. So there's G.B. Trudeau himself. But I'm more familiar with him with this hat. So this picture right here. So if you've never checked out Doonesbury and you ever wondered anything about me outside of here, I grew up reading Doonesbury. It was very influential for me as when I was doing when I was into journalism. And it was a cross between like Doonesbury and God, yeah, Doonesbury like killed it for me. I loved it. All right, so this is Lock and Key. Recently, of course, this was a Netflix show, which I really enjoyed. They changed it quite enough. Hey, and ready, welcome. We're doing comics today, so you might like that actually. And by the way, I got this Pogo, not Pogo, Lock and Key, a very serious like kind of like horror comic done by the son of Stephen King, Joe Hill. So I've got the first two, Welcome to Lovecraft and Head Games. My daughter has them all. She's got like the big collector's edition with the slipcase and everything. So here's one that the UK people are gonna get. I'm in the movie room. It is disconnected like 3 times already, but I'm in here, and it's kind of getting me angry. So this is a Marvel collection. This is one of the UK editions. So what they would do is they would do like kind of collections of comics. Hey there, Sumo. So you get like, you know, Captain Britain, not a surprise, obviously it's the UK, but you have like a lot of other stuff here as well, like there's Nick Fury, Agent of S.H.I.E.L.D., and lots of Captain Britain, Spider-Man, like Planet of the Apes and Jack Lives ad right there. Actually, not an ad, it's actually, that's like Planet of the Apes comic book. And of course, one of my favorites, Dracula. I was a huge Dracula comic fan. I was a huge fan of 2000 AD. I still am. I don't read it. Is it still around? I don't. If it is, I don't read it anymore. But I did read some of the early stuff, and I do have the documentary, which is amazing, by the way. Okay, the next one should be, I don't know, a series. It definitely should be a series of some sort. But put on like, you can't put on, this cannot be CW series. This has to be something that's on more of like a HBO Max or a Showtime or something like that. But this is Hack Slash. And I'm a huge fan of Hack Slash. So Hack Slash stars Cassie Hack. There she is right there. And basically her mother was a serial killer. And she has something in her that that draws her to serial killers. And she goes around killing serial killers. That's her job. And she does it usually with her partner, her friend Vlad. Did I like Creepy? I love Creepy actually. Now these can be pretty bloody, and you will get like nudity and stuff like that, so they're not for kids. This is definitely more of an adult comic than it is a kid's comic. Over the years, she would meet people like Chucky. She would meet Dr. Herbert West. She would meet the Suicide Girls. Yes, there was a Hack Slash Suicide Girls crossover, so that was kind of fun. As a big fan of Suicide Girls, I was actually super stoked to hear about that. And I think it's in one of these, actually. Super Sidekick, Slaughter, Living Corpse, that's not the one. But yeah, makes you think of Dexter. Yeah, in a way it will, actually. Except she's even way more bloodier than Dexter would be. Like, this is Omnibus 2. It was kind of neat. Like, I wanted to get this. My daughter, she wanted to get it too. So she bought the first volume, and I bought volumes 2 and 3. They're on like half price during comic book day. And I think this here is where they're telling the story of like of Cassie Hack, her mother, and how she used to how people used to pick on Cassie. So her mother was the school worked in the school cafeteria, would kill them and like chop them up. And she eventually had to kill her mother when she caught her like killing people. Everybody has this. Usually, even if you don't read, or you're not a regular comic book reader, you probably read this. And this is Watchmen. I still have to see all the series, so I like the new series that came out, like the kind of the continuation. But I really love Watchmen. Read it more times than I can imagine. I like V for Vendetta too, but I think I like Watchmen more. it just kind of stands a bit more for me. But I haven't read V for Vendetta in a long time, so I'd have to reread again. So this was one done by Wizard Magazine, and this is Wizard's Masterpiece Edition. So this is some classic Wolverine stories, and Uncanny X-Men 139, 1940, Uncanny X-Men 172 to 173. That's Claremont and Smith. Wolverine versus the Hulk, which is Incredible Hulk number 340. Madripoor Nights, which is Uncanny X-Men 268. Really good like flashback episode where and Blood Debt, which is Wolverine 150 to 153, which is really good. I remember grabbing the issue 268. It had artwork from Jim Lee, like Chris Claremont was doing the writing. I'm getting through these a lot faster than I thought I would, actually. So next up is the Marvel Masterworks. Now these were, I got this one actually for under $10. These are normally kind of expensive to get. And that is there's a new Star Wars trilogy. I haven't kept up on any of that stuff. Marvel Masterworks, the Thor. So there you go, Thor connection. The last thing I heard about Star Wars was back when the Mandalorian stuff. Not like we haven't got hit with anything yet. We basically we thought we were going to, we thought we were going to get thunder and lightning, so we didn't, and so we went out to the beach on Sunday, and man, did I didn't get, I'm white. This is about as tan as I get, but my better half who. Would be like she got tan really badly on her back, and she never gets tan. Oh man, if burned out on comic books, hopefully you're not burned out on comic books, Amy, because this is the video that you came into. I like the early comic book movies myself. Like I'm a fan. I like the Marvel stuff. I'm interested in DC stuff as well. But this is one of my favorites that I own. This is the Batman from the 30s to the 70s. This was a hard find, actually. Has like a lot of early comics in here, and I think it has like a color section as well. Did I dream that? Oh, there you go. Batman and Superman and Robin teaming up against the Lex Luthor and the Joker, the early Lex Luthor and the Joker, back when Lex Luthor was like a evil scientist. Yeah, basically the 30s to 70s. So like it starts out with like kind of the early 30s stuff. Like so, you get the origin of Batman, and goes into one of the early appearances of the Joker, and goes into like the first appearance of Batgirl, and it ends on, it does first Man Bat here as well. Like it ends on some Neil Adams stuff. Not when he had the hair, but like when it was still bald. But like it wasn't until like the late '80s when they did the whole crisis thing that Luthor became like the businessman, like the calculated businessman. Before he was like the evil scientist. So this was back in the day when Luthor was like inventing things. Who's my favorite Batman villain? Boringly enough, probably the Joker's like one of the greatest villains ever made. So yeah, definitely the Joker's up there. But if you want like aside from the obvious, I was a big fan in the early days of the ventriloquist when they used them right, and I really liked Clayface, like when Clayface is done well, and Penguin later on. But I'm trying to think. Hush was really good. I don't think he's so much as like Marvel's Kingpin, DC's Kingpin. Like Lex Luthor became like he was smart. Like they made him really smart. He took it far. Like he became president in DC, and they don't, that was a ballsy move. That's not something you see very often. All right, so this is the companion one, Superman from the 1930s to the 1970s. Oh, so that's what I did with them. So I have a Nintendo 3DS, and I was wondering what I did with the cards, and that's what I did with them. And Superman was a darker character when he started than when he finished, actually. Like now, he would do a lot of stuff. He would beat the crap out of people. Like originally he was fighting like gangsters and. Oh yeah, like Lex was president of the U.S. United States. So it got like some really good storylines there. Another early Marvel Masterworks is the Avengers. Marvel Masterworks Avengers, like you can see there. By Iron Man suit. So anyway, this is from numbers 1 to 10, the first 10 issues of the Avengers. Really, Brian? Really? You can't? You can't imagine? So this is Marvel Masterworks Fantastic Four, number 11 to 20. Actually, back in the day, Fantastic Four was like, its moniker was the world's greatest comic. And it's a fun comic. I'm not sure if I'd call it the... You're right, Amy. Yes, he would win the election. Early appearance of Ant-Man. Right there, look. The original Ant-Man. But I love these Marvel Masterworks. They're so well done. But they're also so very expensive as well, normally. And I just lucked into getting these at like Comic-Cons, where I could get them like for like fairly cheap. Because a lot of these, like when they initially came out, ran around like, some of these here. What's this one here? This one. So I bought this one here for $10 in a long box at a comic shop that was selling off like a lot of their stuff that they'd had there for a while. But the initial price of this comic right here, the Amazing Spider-Man, the Marvel, like pretty much the Masterworks they did for Spider-Man. This is issues number what is it? Number 11 to 20. So, and this was a few years ago. This is how much this costs. This would normally cost $80 Canadian. So yeah, so this would have been like $49.99 US, but $80 Canadian. Great artwork. Fantastic stories. I mean, like the classic Spider-Man stories are just great. And if you've ever seen the someone is actually telling you the Lex story. Have you ever seen the early Spider-Man like cartoon? They did like do a lot of the storylines there. Have I seen Star Wars? I saw Star Wars in theater when it came out. I've seen pretty much all of them in theater when they came out. Even when, like the prequels, I took my kids to. Well, one of my kids was too small at the time, but I took my oldest, who was at the right age for it, to see them. Now the prequels get a lot of hate now, but when my kid saw it, my kid will say now, like she'll say like, I wasn't big on it, but when she saw it as a kid and she was watching the pod race and there, like she was like, it was amazing, right? And so I can never really hate on any of them too much because I know that one of those films is somebody's first film. Prequels are your favorite? Cool, good for you, man. All right, so this is, I need more of this one. So this is Spider-Man Loves Mary Jane. Thank you, Bill. And I'm a huge fan of Strangers in Paradise, which is, and I don't own any of the comics, so it's so strange. But Terry Moore is the writer for Strangers in Paradise. I love the comic Strangers in Paradise. Hopefully I'll get through this. I've got at least 4 volumes of the like huge like omnibus volumes of Savage Sword of Conan. You collect hardcovers as well. And so this one is Flash, Greatest Stories Ever Told, and we can see there is like Wally West, the Kid Flash, Barry Allen, was the Flash at the time, and of course Jay Garrick. I don't think there's any like this because I don't think Wally West was like the Flash at this point, but there's some really good stories in here, and I'm a huge fan of the Flash. Trouble by Mark Miller. Yeah, it is such. Yes, I've heard of Trouble. No, if the tropical storm was interfering, this wouldn't have happened like last week too. Next video is going to be upstairs. We're going to like go back and forth. This is Superman True Brit. Actually, this is really good. And one of the writers on this is John Cleese from Monty Python. So it is a very British Superman. If you have not seen it before, it is really good. It's one of those kind of Elseworld style tales, but I super enjoy it. All right, let's try and get these here. Oh, son of a... Super cheesy stuff for a Flash film. See, the thing is, Flash is done so well on TV that when they said they're making a Flash movie, I was like, why? Well, why do you want to make a Flash movie? They've already like done Flash, like make something else. You kind of perfected it. It's really good. Unless you want to make a theater like film with the Flash guys. Okay, so this is the Marvel Visionaries. I wish I had more of these. These are amazing. This is my favorite is Empire Strikes Back. This guy, no, this seems pretty like. So this is John Romita Sr. Of course, there's a John Romita Jr. as well. But there's like great stories in here. And the thing is, it picks like from all of Romita's work. So like horror stories like It, and like stories from from Spider-Man, from Fantastic Four. Of course, the classic Spider-Man No More, which just incredible art right there. So after that one, I have the Visionary here for Jack Kirby. This is the 2nd volume, and there's some really neat stories in here, like really harder to find stories, like what the Vision. There's like early Captain America's in here. What's really neat is that they'll pick things like you wouldn't expect to see, and you get like anything from like Captain America to Thor to Fantastic Four, just some really incredible stuff, and they'll do really good jobs. Well, Jack Kirby worked on like a lot of the early characters, like same as Stan Lee. Jack Kirby and Stan Lee, like they were creating all those like early Marvel superhero characters. Stan Lee would get a lot of credit for everything, but Jack Kirby would do a lot more than he was ever credited for. And next up is Roy Thomas, who was pretty big in the 70s when it came to stuff. But he started off with some early stuff as well. So Roy Thomas was doing stuff in the 60s, and I mean like right there, Modeling with Millie, with Roy Thomas. And some like Iron Man. Is this all comics? Well, it's almost finished, as if things go keep going this way. But I'm talking mostly comics, yes. So hopefully you like that, or hopefully you enjoy me enough that you'll stay with me, even though it's not always something that you're into. Right? Roy Thomas did amazing comic work with Conan. All right, I'm going to go over here and get these, and then I'm going to move the other ones over because My back is killing me. I don't want these to fall down. The thing that a lot of you guys don't realize is these come from upstairs. And I had to bring all these hardcover books down, and I shall have to bring them all back up and put them back in their place. So if you're here, please hit the like button. In all seriousness, this was something that took a long time for me to do, and is probably one of the hardest things I've had to do. Is like hauling these up and down stairs, and sometimes over 2 flights of stairs. So likes are appreciated today. Yeah, my Star Wars. Are you serious? My Star Wars knowledge, man, you would totally win that. Like I've seen the films, but I'm not like rapidly like know a lot about them. It's like one of my friends was like, he's really into Star Wars, so he knows all that stuff. But I just enjoy them. Thank you, Chris. I appreciate it. All right, so DC started doing this archive edition line of hardcover, really well done comics. They started out with 2 volumes. I have one of the original ones. I used to have both of them. They started at Superman Archives Volume 1, and they started Green Lantern Archives Volume 1. And I'm definitely tracking. And they were $19.95 each, like $30.95 in Canada. But if you bought them when they initially came out, it's a Green Octopus guy. So I totally would not know that. You're definitely know more than me on that. But these were originally $9.99 when they came out. Hey there, Cinema Dave. I am into. I don't know if you like the graphic novel stuff, but I'm almost finished. But I've gone through all my graphic novels, at least the first portion of my graphic novels. I haven't done like the soft cover stuff. So this is the Superman Volume 1, and this is like the early kind of classic Superman. See that? So you see this here. See this character right here. So that's not Lex Luthor. Actually, there's another like kind of bald like character in Superman, but because the guy that was drawing the comic did like Brandon Routh, he's just like Christopher Reeves. Like the movie, it was okay, but his portrayal was amazing. But because he'd seen this bald character, he thought that that's what like Lex Luthor looked like. So he got the character wrong actually. Early Superman was like really different. He was the type of people that he fought. And one was just like a boxer gotten hurt. Do I collect old comics? Well, these are mostly older ones. So yeah, I do. I would love to have like, I used to have a comic collection. Like comics I collected before films. Obviously that was like, a big thing in my life. So it's something that hits hard. I don't know if he didn't want to play him bald. Hey River, talk to you later. Thank you. But I think that's the thing, is that the character. Is there an argument going on? Give it up, guys. I'll say it once. Give it up. No arguing in the call to cinema, unless it's debating a bit like whether you like a movie or a comic. That's different. So All Star Comics Archive Volume 6. Now there's no harshness in here, so that'd be the one warning. Yeah, I was actually, you know where I got trolled recently? Twitter, on a Twitter video. I got asked like the most inappropriate question. I was like going through like a Twitter video. He's allowed to say the prequels are his favorite. That everybody has opinions, and opinions are allowed. That's how this works. So anyway, I was in Twitter, and I got asked the most like somebody asked me what was it? It had nothing to do with like I was just talking about like the weather was stuff and went to the beach, and somebody randomly comes in that I'd never seen before. And it's like, do you hit girls? And I'm like, no. But I'm thinking, but I'll hit you for this stupid question. But yeah, randomly creepy stuff. And I never got that on like a Twitter video before. Oh, this is this is hilarious. So this is the lineup of the Justice League Society of America, right? So you have Mr. Terrific, Wildcat, Dr. Midnight, the Atom, Johnny Thunder, the Green Lantern, the Flash, and Wonder Woman is the secretary. She's not actually allowed to be a full member, but she can take notes. Uh, yeah, it was a different time, guys. It was a very different time. Dude, Superman Returns, you're gonna get yourself blocked by, in all seriousness, by getting harsh with people. I warned you once, and that's what I do, and then I'm gonna let like Brian take over. That's I don't like being the bad guy, but I'll be the bad guy to make sure everybody keep as is right now, Brian. If harshness, if you see another harsh comment come out, then just nick it, nip it in the butt. And if it continues to be, no, I wasn't talking. Oh well, I wasn't talking to you, but I I didn't like the. I don't like people being like yelled at and stuff. Um, keep calm. Well, I'm trying to, Sue. So respect other people's opinions, even if you don't agree with them, stuff like that. I'm not a huge fan of Rob Zombie's Halloween films, but I have a lot of members on here that are huge fans of Rob Zombie's Halloween films. We still like each other. All right, so this is Shazam Archives. This is Volume 1, right? Yeah, CC Beck, the original Shazam. Really good. Shazam actually was one of the neat things about the Shazam comics, the Captain Marvel comics, is it was the first serialized story in comic books, like Wiz Comics, and I think it was was it like the group of what's it called, the group of evil? I can't remember the name of it now, but it ran like I think like 15 like issues or 15 chapters at least, and it was the first serialized like comic book story. Like before that, comic books were usually like one shots. Like you'd find when you bought an issue, that was it. When you went to the next issue, it was a different story. Yeah, and you'd have the same characters and stuff, but it'd be a different story. But Shazam was the first, Captain Marvel, I'm going to say, was the first comic to serialize. So even for people that don't like comics, I think you're going to appreciate these two right here. And I left them for last on purpose. And this is incredible science fiction. There were two of these done. There was, and this is number 2. Do I have number 1? Oh, I probably should have shown number 1 first. So let's show number 1 first. So this is weird fantasy. So weird science fantasy. So this is done by EC. And EC Comics, of course, are the guys from Tales from the Crypt, Vault of Horror. Uh, so we're talking about EC. Dude, if you're asking me to pick, you're going to lose because you're being harsh. That's the truth. Everybody here is getting along. This is meant to be a safe space for people to like chat and talk about movies and geeky stuff and comics and video games and that type of stuff. So you got to respect that. I love EC. Now, is this the Gladstone editions or is this pre-Gladstone? Yeah, it's the Russ Cochran one. So Russ Cochran was the guy that actually did the did like the reprints for EC Comics. So there's a Gladstone comic did like reprints for EC Comics and like like a lot of the early stuff from Donald Duck and Scrooge and stuff like that. And big thanks to Russ Cochran and redoing the old EC Comics, the Tales from the Crypt, Vault of Horror, all that type of stuff. I was able to like rediscover them later in life. I'd read about them and I hadn't gotten to see a lot of them early on, but I was able to get them. Now when I came here to Nova Scotia, I went to the very first time that I went to a kind of what you call it? Oh my God, I'm totally distracted. The very first time that I went to a flea market here, I found these. So there was weird science fantasy and incredible science fiction with such great artwork. And I found out later on, because I saw somebody that had these online, that initially these came together in like a slip box, which I don't have the slip box, so he didn't have that. But some great stories, great artwork by Wally Wood. You wanna delete that now or? Thank you, Brian. Much appreciated. There was one called Weird. There was a few of them actually. God, there was like eerie and there's creepy. I don't think Weird lasted long, did it? But there's a few different ones. Am I planning to get them down to up? You can go off topic anytime, especially Cinema Dave. I like your type of off topic because I just finished the comic portion of it. So right now we're going into the other aspect of it. Yeah, I do want to get the Dawn of the Dead set. Times it's been tough right now, and to make it even worse. No, you didn't. Oh, but you didn't. But time's been tight. Things are been a little bit tight right now. It's making it worse for my Patreon stuff because like once you get up, apparently, once you've been on Patreon for like so many weeks, because normally your Patreon goes and it pays out immediately type thing, and I'm like, okay, first of the month I'll get a bill paid, but this week is like they're like, okay, it's gonna take 10 days for it to go out because new rules. And I'm like, okay, Patreon, I'll wait. So I'm hoping to get it, Cinema Dave, because I really like it, and I really want the. the the CDs. That's like just like same as with the Umberto Lenzi one, and that turned out to be really good. The Umberto Lenzi Carol Baker set. But if you didn't get Cinema Dave, I really recommend you pick it up. And ready? Did you get that Lenzi Baker set? It's incredible. It's amazingly well done. One of the best sets that I own right now. I rewatched. I've watched the movies twice. I'm actually before I got this come today. By the way, just so you know, before I got this here come today, the Umberto Lenzi Baker set was going to be the review of that was going to be the video that I did tonight, but I decided to instead I do the graphic novel video, and because I got my Batman come today, and I was going between the Umberto Lenzi review, and somebody had asked me to go to do all my entire like animation collection, like from Hanna-Barbera to Looney Tunes and all that type of stuff. So I said I'll do that one soon too. But there's a few now that I'm like working on because I'm getting close to like getting a lot of my collection done in my collection videos, and I want to like kind of branch out. I know that I was surprisingly shocked at how many people like really enjoyed the collection stuff, and I thought like it would die off like after a video or two, but people have really taken to it. So it pushed a couple of other videos that I was going to do back. Like I'd plan to do a lot more directors centric videos. Like I started talking about with John Carpenter, and I plan to do ones on Umberto Lenzi and Dario Argento and Lucio Fulci and Jess Franco, and I still plan to do those. But like most like people, like when I go back and I look at the original video that I did for John Carpenter, it's one of my least viewed videos in the last year or two. So that obviously plays a part in when you're deciding what you're going to do next. If something that you can have fun talking about, and you're going to get a lot of people talking about it, especially when you're doing a live video, then fantastic. But if you're the only person interested in it, and other people and nobody's like coming, even on the back end, nobody's coming in, then you're like, I guess. My comic book films. I did say I was going to do that. I initially planned that for this, Chris, but I did this instead, and you were in mind when I did this because I know you do a lot of. Thank you. But that I did a lot that you do a lot of like comic stuff on your Twitter, so you're part of the inspiration for this one. So hopefully you've enjoyed it. Hopefully you guys have all enjoyed it, despite the bit of drama. What I'm not going to enjoy, and I'm not going to lie, is every one of these, and a lot of these are, yeah, bring these back upstairs. Not going to enjoy that. Well, Spractor, good question. Do you need a separate player to play 4K? We do need a 4K player. I've got an Xbox One S, so that plays 4Ks for me. I'm actually helping my dad like find a 4K player because he recently bought a system. More sporadic director. I don't know really. I mean, that's a good question though. Batman Forever, actually, from what I read online, because I did look up the reviews on all the 4Ks after, Batman Forever has the best 4K transfer out of the four of them. And they all have amazing 4K transfers. Like, I actually saw Batman in theater, so I'm somebody that, I've seen my own theater, that can look back on them and say, yes, this is what it looked like. Sporadic director. I got to think about that. That's a really good question. I don't know. Maybe Woody Allen. Yeah, maybe Woody Allen. Early stuff I kind of into, and some of his like the writings that he did. Some of his later stuff, it always seemed like he was doing the same thing. I know this is gonna a lot of people are gonna hate this. It seemed like a lot of the stuff that he was doing was just recycling, just putting it in a different in a different way. Did anybody else get that? Leave for now, as long as there's nothing like bad being said. Yeah, like I like some of his early work. Obviously, Woody Allen as a person creeps me out. like it's that, you know, there's that, like, you know. No, it doesn't. Okay, you can delete that comment right now. One more comment like that, and you're gone. So, you know, do the thing again, the silent for 300, whatever the hell that is. Uh, Thank you. I have no time for that type of stuff, guys. How to get it? I am like the cheeriest dude on the internet, and on YouTube most of the time. Future reference, you want to piss me off? There's a good way to start. Uh, you missing? Oh, it's actually just one, but it was the Batman 4K. I finally managed to pick it up, and it was on went on sale for like under 20. I think around 20. Actually, it was around 20, to be honest with you, which I think is a really good price for the 4K of the original 1989 Batman. And I'm very excited to actually check this out. So this one has the 4K Ultra HD, the Blu-ray, and the digital. Spartacus and 4K. I don't have that one yet. I love Kirk Douglas, so that's definitely one I'll pick up. There's a lot of 4Ks that I got to get. I don't have The Shining yet, and I heard The Shining is really good. Uh, Thanks, Sarah. You came in near the end, but I'm glad you came in because my thing has been kind of cutting in and out. So, guys, what I plan on doing next is, I'm not sure. I want to do the complete superhero like movie one. I want to do the Umberto Lindsay, Carol Baker box set review. Um, I need to add more and I want to do a Mill Creek like overview. So that's probably next, actually. If I'm like in all seriousness. Oh, by the way, I got to say this right now. I put it on my Twitter. But me and my better half sat down the weekend, and we watched Heath Serial at Midnight's video where he interviews the guy from Mill Creek. And after the interview was very well done, and listening to him talk, and it made us both like want to buy a bunch of Mill Creek stuff. So I'm trying to get at least a couple more Mill Creek things. What's my Twitter name? You don't want to be on my Twitter. You want to be on my Instagram. My Twitter name though is Mr. Vincent. So you know, Vinegar Syndrome, because I do a lot of Vinegar Syndrome stuff. But my Instagram is my better one, Charm007. Twitter, it's all, you know, it'll be a video, and it's all like politics and stuff like that. And I feel uncomfortable with that. I want to divorce my own personal Twitter account from like having a Call to Cinema Twitter account. And I'm eventually going to do that, guys. But because I try to keep the personal things personal. That's it. Trolling. They do it. You know you're popular when. Okay, then you might be okay. So, Mr. Vincent, Vinsyn. Obviously here, so everything from here on out is going to be like talking about movies and stuff like that for the last part of this video. So we're not going to talk about like trolls or somebody has bad or good taste in films or any of that stuff. That's. So we're not going to talk about anyone else. So Hobo, we're not going to talk about like him, or we're not going to have a fight between that. So we're going to just radio silence that whole thing. What are my pet peeves? You mean like in? I hate. What do you call those? So we know those, like the people that like buy a bunch of stuff up. What's the God? My head's killing. Mine's gone. And just standalone all region 4K player. I'll tell you what. Let me look it up. And I'll look, scalpers. Thank you for right. It's one of those days. Let me look it up because I have to do a video on 4K soon, because my dad just bought a 4K TV. His TV crapped out on him, and he just bought a new 4K 58-inch 4K television set. And for my dad alone, I want to do a video on. Dude, that was it. Give me a second, guys. He's going to do this really easily. Hey there, Jay. Hey there, Jay. I can't remember how to do it right now, but like the third time's the third strike, so I was just gonna block because what do you do after that, right? You just block, get rid of stuff, keep the negativity out. But my pet peeve is scalpers. I hate scalpers. Thank you. Do that. I'm not sure you block an insta, but if you can block an insta, do that as well. The thing is, we get sometimes in a while we get like, not very often, but we get people on here that just are kind of attention starved. That happens. And this is me from a guy who's on a frigging YouTube. So, so if I'm saying someone's attention starved, there you go. Oh, that is a fantastic double feature. New Kids and Tough Turf. To me, no, I don't hate prequels. I don't hate any of those films. It's okay, Brian. Sorry that you had to like come in for that. But New Kids and Tough Turf, that's one I used to do like as a double feature back in the VHS days, actually, because I like both films and James Spader. Massacre Central High is another one that I would usually shove in to that into that mix. We need a good edition of Massacre Central High. Like, in all seriousness, that's such a good movie. And we got like a 4K conversation going on. Talk to you later, Brian. Have a good evening. Yeah, actually, I had one that didn't work. Tough Turf's a lot of music. It's been a long time since I've seen Tough Turf. By musical numbers, I guess you mean like montages and not like James Spader's going to get up and sing. But we keep it sealed. I understand it. I mean, like, I don't. I know there's like a lot of older folks that collect like. Not I won't say older folks. That's kind of generalizing. Like, have you ever seen that thing on Saturday Night Live? Does it really? God, I got to see that movie again. Where they show like the Star Wars. Speaking of Star Wars, the Star Wars commercial, and it shows the kids, and they're like playing with the Star Wars action figures, and like now the new Star Wars Force Awakens is what it says. Yeah, like, and now the new Millennium Falcon, and then it shows like the adult collectors, and you can play with them, or you can keep them in the box. So I always find that hilarious. I've seen I've seen them all actually. Well, you won't get 4K out of it, but because it's 4K, you need a 4K TV to show 4K resolution. So yeah, you're gonna need a 4K TV. Like that's gonna be a thing. Because what happened with us is like we basically that's what we did. We got an Xbox One S because it was like Black Friday when it was on sale, and we knew that had a 4K player, so we bought like a 4K movie because on Black Friday some of the 4K movies and the regular Blu-rays were the same price. So we got a couple of 4Ks and said, well, one of these days we're going to pick up a 4K TV so we can actually go see it, right? And then the next day, it was the very next day, a sale came on 4K TVs, and we bought one, and haven't gone back since. Now, not so much. I don't know how it's going to work. I like to be honest with you, because it could be scrambled, or it could be like because I've never checked, right? Or it could just be it's just be crappier quality. I know when I bought a DVD player. Dude, did you really come back in under another name? Thanks, Brian. The biggest mistake that PlayStation 4 made, in my opinion, is this. Uh, it was that the 4K, there was no 4K player. There were, if you get another message like that, if we go over past the 300 seconds and like they come with another message like that, definitely report. I bought like Xbox got a lot of my money because PS4 didn't have a 4K player, and I had a PS4, but I didn't want to go, and I just wanted to have the one system. But Xbox said, well, you know what? We're going to put a Rare Replay, which is one of my favorites, and we're also going to have we're actually going to put a 4K Blu-ray player. And by the way, contrary to popular beliefs, the 4K player on the Xbox One S really good, and some people said, well, there's certain films didn't work with their Xbox One S. I've yet to find a 4K Blu-ray that doesn't work with my Xbox, and that's been pretty excellent. I do recommend if you're like a movie fan and you're going out to get a TV soon type thing, or maybe you're kind of on like getting a new TV. Maybe you got a stimulus check or something like that, and you got some extra money or won the lottery. Grab a 4K TV. Do a lot of Xbox games. I don't. I mean, like initially I did have a few, but a lot of the stuff, like I said, Rare Replay, I had like the physical copy of that. Now Xbox does have, and I don't normally. I'm usually a physical media guy, right? No, CDs work with the Xbox, but they don't work with the PS4. So that's the second strike for the PS4. You can't watch 4Ks on a PS4. You can't play CDs on a PS4. You can do both on an Xbox. And I initially bought my Xbox like just for playing movies on. But they have a really good like Xbox Game Pass system, and it's really cheap. So that's the one like non-physical thing that I will go for. I have been watching a bit of Peacock recently too. Has anybody checked out Peacock? Well, the thing is Xbox region free as far as films. Well, none of the systems are really region free as far as films artists, but the one really good thing about a 4K is so you see this here, the 4K edition of this. Good one there. Have a good evening, man. So the Blu-ray of this one that'll be region locked, right? But the actual 4K disc on this one right here isn't region locked. So basically, anytime you buy a 4K, whether it's from like U.S. or Japan or China or UK or if you're a modern game, I'm a bit of a shooter fan, so I liked a lot of the Call of Duty games. So I haven't played those in a bit, but I'm not quite sure. My favorite modern day game, I like the Uncharted series. We'll go with that. No, they never should have been. But 4K for guys, if you want to collect in like in all the different regions and stuff like that, 4K UHDs aren't region locked. None of them are. So any 4K that you see, whether it's here or Amazon UK, Amazon France, wherever, if you see it in this UHD, maybe it's like Texas Chainsaw Massacre in UHD or a movie that's not out here. Like say I don't know, say somebody like to says the puts out like in Germany they put out like a UHD of what's not out that people would want to see. Fade to Black, right? Fade to Black, excellent film, Dennis Christopher. I can imagine if that came out in 4K. Would I get it? Yes. Would I be able to play it on my system? Yes. I wouldn't have to worry about any codes or region locking or having to get like a special system for it. If you got a 4K TV and a 4K player or an Xbox One S or X, then that 4K plays on your system no matter what region that came from. And that is one of the most amazing things about 4K. Is that if you couldn't find, like say I wanted to get The Shining and all of a sudden I couldn't find it here in North America and Amazon UK, I go on Amazon UK and they say, oh look, The Shining is making silly faces as I freeze up. So that The Shining is basically The Shining is there. And I'll just buy the UK edition because it's the same thing. What's my favorite mafia film? Well, I'm not going to say Scarface because everybody was going to say Scarface or Goodfellas. I read it. Mafia film. That's like modern day mafia film. I like the early James Cagney stuff, but that's not really mafia. It is mafia, right? I loved like that style stuff. But of course, out of the Godfather films, Godfather 2 is my favorite. But yeah, I'm gonna be really boring. Let's go with Scarface. But I do like the original Scarface too. But we'll go with Scarface. Though Goodfellas is really good. Casino's pretty cool. You just report them? Okay. Like there's the thing, you give enough chances, that's all you can do. But but no, it's a good question. I mean, I have never done like one of my like a mafia video. I've done like a gangsters type video at one point, like early on. I should probably do another one of those. There used to be. I mean, like the Siki was really good for that. One power. Yeah. Siki had like the 4-digit code. Remember? That's the one I got. Uh, Nowadays, you just got to buy. Like, you're like 220 Electronics. That's where you go for stuff like that now. But the good thing about 4K, don't worry about it. You don't have to worry about hacking it. I don't know. I mean, I initially had planned to do a video tomorrow, but it really depends. This weekend I was working on some stuff, like some StreamYard stuff, to work to get like my to get things like set up for a couple of the collaborations that I was supposed to do a couple weeks ago. So I'm hoping to get that done. So hopefully tomorrow, if not tomorrow, maybe Wednesday. Oh, so what tomorrow's? What's today? God, it's Monday, right? It's one of those days, guys. It's just one of those days. Um, if it's not tomorrow, then it's gonna be the day after. Okay, it's Tuesday. Thanks. So Thursday. If it's not today, it's gonna be Thursday. I normally do a video on Fridays, so and on Saturdays too. I know Sundays is now our beach day if the day is nice. So I try to get things in. I try to get in on the weekends, and usually, what time frame? Not normally this early. This one is earlier because this one's earlier because basically I got off work and I had to do and I wanted to do the Batman one, and I wanted to do something different. I've been trying to as you guys probably know, I'm trying to expand the channel and this stuff that I do. So I am going to bring back something that I was asked about a week or so ago, and hopefully you guys like it. So a couple years ago, I made a video called Hammer versus Amicus. Thursday's good, so there we go. Thursday, we got that. So I'm bringing back the versus videos. So we're gonna put companies labels up against one another. I did an early video around like 4 years ago, Arrow versus Scream Factory. We're going to be revisiting that, except back then it was just me talking. So and you guys are going to be, it's live, so you guys are going to be able to give your opinions as well. So is anybody interested? Oh no, I'm working from home. Like literally, when I said I was working, I like walked downstairs here, grabbed a million graphic novels, and then I started the video. Trust me, if I had to come home, this would took a lot longer. I did freeze up, I know. So anyway, so what I said before was I'm going to be doing some versus videos. Is anybody interested in seeing those? Okay. So we'll see some of that. We'll see some Arrow versus Scream Factory, maybe Vinegar Syndrome versus Severin. Uh, we'll revisit some different companies as well. We'll look into like directors, Argento versus I did an Argento versus Fulci video. That really surprised me the way that one went. So we're going to see more of that too as well, and that way we'll go through different things, and I think they're fun, and I get a lot of viewer interaction during those videos, and that's always a good thing. So we'll get some of those as well. I do want to do the director ones down the road, which I did promise earlier on, but again, the John Carpenter one didn't do well, so that made me think maybe people don't want to see director like centric videos. So so eventually, same film released by two guys. I was asked that. Was that you that asked that before? Because that's a really good idea, and I would do it like for movies that I got or that I know. I know, and I do, and like right now it's like it's even harder because I'm trying to do things like uh, I'm trying to do certain ones, and I'm trying to fill like content and space that people are gonna want to see, and especially when like there's people out there that can every Tuesday or whatever, they're always bringing in new stuff or they're showing new stuff. Crime Mafia Gangster one, that's actually a good idea. And I can't, unfortunately, right now I can't afford to like have like every week I can't bring in a new movie or show off a lot of stuff. This was on sale, so this is a rarity. Just like and for the Severance stuff, that's probably not coming till September. So I sat down yesterday and I was like thinking, what am I going to do for my content for this month? And like because I want to do more than just collection videos, even though I love the collection videos, and obviously people have been loving them too. I've been just this here was like an attempt to like stretch out a bit and just do a little bit different like content that as well. Like I've stopped doing like such like video game stuff because I don't know, me people don't, I guess people don't see me, even though I'm a gamer. People don't see me as a gamer, or they don't see my channel in that way. So if that comes on, like they provide that like the plague. Uh, my most disappointing video that I ever had to do was actually still probably one of my favorites. And I did a video, and I started it. I thought it was a really clever idea. This goes to show you never know, right? When we're on YouTube, and a lot of you guys here are YouTubers, so you can actually at least watch our anime reviews. See, that's the thing, and things you love, right? But what you find out. Like for me, I did this video on like I did a record review for Billy Joel's Glass Houses. And I thought this is really neat. I can like listen to all the songs, like give my thoughts on it, like give a whole overview of like what I thought of the record in whole, like talk about that, and give like and pick records that were connected to me and either my youth or some way like were special to me. So I listened to Glass Houses. A great eating dungeon, and I like that. Like so many times, and I took notes, and eventually I did the video, and it is to this day one of my least watched videos that I've ever done. It was a major disappointment for the work that I put into it. It was a major disappointment, and it shouldn't be. I mean, it shouldn't bother me because my better half is always like, just make what you like, and no, it doesn't matter. If people that like it are going to like it, and the people that find it and like it are the ones that are going to matter in the end anyway, right? Because obviously there are people that come back. But as a YouTuber, you still you get that thing where you're like, you want people to like you, or like your videos at least, right? I'm looking over here, and I know I'm going to be ending this video in like a couple minutes. And I'm looking at all this on my sofa, and I want to cry because it's not going to be fun. Yeah, exactly, cubicle. And for me, I guess like I did like movie and TV unboxings and reviews and stuff. But when I started this like 9 years ago, I did a bit of everything. I was like, you know when you find your niche, right? I did like beer reviews. I did like chip tastings. I used to love those, by the way. I did like I did comic reviews. But what really kind of popped my channel, aside from the fact that it's live and that's different than like some of those live, like, oh, I'm going live on Friday type of thing. Live has been like good and bad for me. It's been good for me in the way that like live is as it's put eyes on my channel that I didn't necessarily see were going to come on there, and it's got me like opportunities, whether it be working in like for podcasting or things or other people's channels. So it's worked really good like that, but it's killer in another way. And so I'm going to say this now because so people can learn from me, especially if you're going to do the live stuff. So if I wanted to do like an actual super chat video, because I leave that open for my thing. I don't do super chat videos per se, but if I had to do like, if I was like, okay, there's something coming up, or I'm saving for like a microphone or something like that, and this video is going to be like a super chat video type of thing, because I already do live videos all the time. there's really not a lot of like pressure to go forward, like for people to go for like super chat. So if you got a channel like Cultaholic or what Wrestle Talk or something like that, to give you like kind of an idea, their videos are pre-taped most of the time. So you're seeing these like 10, 15 minute like news videos and top 10 lists and stuff like that. So when they do a live video, they do like a super chat or something like that, because I guess it's a special event, and people want to get their comments across. They want to get mentioned on the channel. Then super chats come in. They come in pretty fast. But if you've got a live channel already, right? Like I do, and you do your best to comment on pretty much everything and answer every question, then if I do a super chat, how do I differentiate that from regular live video? You know what I mean? These are the things. This is behind the curtain, guys. This is what like YouTubers think about. Like, how do you do that? Like, I'm just blessed that I have the ability to do this stuff. But it's a quandary. It's definitely like this kind of like enigma. Well, what do you do? But nobody's talking to you. But you understand me? Get out of that. No. 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 Inflation makes life work for me. Yeah, that's the thing, right? Like, I'm talking to my cat. Yeah, he was trying to get into like one of the things, and recently they came in here, and they peed around my movie area, and I had to like get that cleaned up quickly. Obviously, you don't want to get soaked into the films and stuff like that. Imagine your friend. I'm always talking to my cats. No, cats rarely listen to us. They just they pretend. And cats have this like kind of like this play cute type of thing that they do. I'm a huge animal lover. It's a pea and vinegar syndrome. That's why those are up top. All right, so that's that check. I haven't checked it yet. I do have to check it. Anyway, because I have to bring up a million frigging books. What was I thinking? I am Aaron. This is my movie library. That is my cat. Where's he gone now? He's waiting for me. He's waiting for me over there. It is time for tea. I hope that like the end of it was kind of interesting for some of you guys to kind of get a kind of like we're thinking about doing YouTube channels and stuff, to get a peek behind the scenes of what we do here and kind of the craziness of it. Have a great night. Sorry for the drama there, though I don't normally have that on my channel. If you're new to my channel, that's not something to expect. You don't get it very often. So have a good one. I am Aaron. This is my movie library. You're the Cult of Cinema. You guys rock, and I will see you again very soon. Looking at Thursday being the next video. So just so you know, we're all here Thursday. So any of you guys that said Thursday, I'm going to be looking for you.